Hello, everyone. Episode 5, I think, of Glistian Unfiltered, but our second preview of UK racing. We've got Dylan Cunha on today, Sir Bob, who's moved rooms. He's no longer in the CD room. And CD
Well,
as in compact disc, not CD as in SEEDY.
Huh.
Just for clarity. And we got Jonathan, 50% strike rate, Yankee, dog winning tipster extraordinaire. Welcome to the podcast. You've disappeared.
I'll get back.
I think we'll start with in the beginning. Dylan, you owe me £288.
Why is that?
Well, I've flown to Prague to do the interview.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, so let's just get the business commercial side out of it. Okay, for the viewers out there, we interviewed Dylan today because amongst a lot of extraordinary things this young man has done, like becoming a bloody pilot because he was bored, he chose to take up training in Newmarket, the home of racing, and started training a shitload of winners, and has gotten to the point now that he's supplemented Prague to run at Ascot. Can you believe it? Do you pinch yourself sometimes?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
No, you're muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
He'll be back.
No, he's not back. Arnold Schwarzenegger came back, but Dylan's not back.
The show must go on.
The show always goes on.
Anyway, we will hear from him, I'm sure. But he's running Prague in one of the most prestigious races of the whole season, the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes. So it'll be fascinating. I was at Newmarket when he won the other day. Can you hear us, Dylan? I think
you see, when he had a Skoda, he was easily achieved. You know, we could speak to him. But now that he's in a Bentley, it's impossible. Sir Bob, let us carry on. Dylan will come back, right?
Yeah.
Have you looked at the card for tomorrow?
Have I looked at it? Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, compared to the Newmarket card we did last week, this is very tricky because the ground on Champions Day, which tomorrow is at Ascot, is going to be very, very soft indeed. In fact, the long distance races, they're running on the inner track because the outer track is too wet.
Yeah. It's going to be tricky tomorrow, isn't it? A mile race is effectively 80 meters longer.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's back. I don't know what
sideways now.
Well, while you're there, Dylan,
okay?
talk about Prague. I was at Newmarket when Prague won the other day, and the ground was pretty soft then. But I mean, he just, despite not settling, he waltzed away with the race.
Yeah. Look, I don't think ground. He goes in the heavy ground. We know that, which he's going to get tomorrow. But I don't think ground really matters with him. He's very versatile, like the Galileos are. He's just maturing. So mentally, I was watching him this morning. He's just a different horse. He's completely. He's just getting cleverer and more mature. He's a big baby. So look, he's going to love the ground. He's not going to not like it, but he's mentally getting better and better. So quite excited for tomorrow.
When you saw him being so keen the other day at Newmarket, were you worried that he was racing too keenly?
I was very worried until Danny pulled him out and then got him to the front, and he pricked his ears and settled, and then I pretty much knew he'd be a hard horse to beat from there. I think he'll settle tomorrow. Last run, there was only 4 runners. There was nowhere to hide. They were going really slow. I think 16-second furlong. So I think any horse would have pulled really. I think tomorrow will be a fair Group 1 clip, probably 11-12-second furlongs, and I'm sure he'll settle tomorrow.
And
that's interesting.
Danny Taleb knows him pretty well. What was his reaction immediately after? What did he say to you?
He basically said he's very, very good. That's what he said. He doesn't say much. He just went, he's very, very good. He got a good one here. He felt he was very good at Haydock the time before. He said he thought he should have won. He was unlucky. And then he won really well, and he's very impressed with him. And he's been on the phone, made sure we got a red hood on him this week to the start, just to keep the lid on him. He's really been thinking about the race, so yeah, excited. Yeah, he's a good jockey. He's a big race jockey. He rides Ascot really well. He knows the horse well now, so yeah, very exciting.
So we all systems go for a solid run from Prague.
Yeah.
Has the phone rung again?
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't ring. It's crazy. Yeah, it's mad. I mean, I've just been to the sales for 2 weeks now and not got one. I have bought 4 horses, but with no buyers. It's just how it is. The phone doesn't really ring, but we keep working hard and keep pushing and see how it goes.
Might ring tomorrow.
I hope
You
so.
think so?
Well, I mean, how do you think? I mean, against you're up against genuine Group 1 horses. I mean, it's a fantastic race. Charin and Tamfana. Genuinely, how do you think he'll cope with them?
Look, Charin is obviously the best mile in the world. I'd happily run second to Charin right now if you gave me the option. Tamfana is good. My daughter actually works for David Minius here, so we got a bit of banter between us going. She thinks Tamfana will win, and I obviously think Prague will win. So I hope we beat her. The 2 French horses look good. That's a Group 1 in England at Ascot on Champions Day. I don't think you get bigger or tougher, so he's going to have to up his game. But we're really confident he has, and I honestly could not have a horse looking better than he looks. He looks unreal. So, yeah, I have a feeling he will be up to it tomorrow. So we'll see.
I think from a punter's perspective, right? I see he's around about 14-1 now. And it's not because Dylan trains him, because I actually remember this horse winning his first start at Sandown. I remember him winning. I'm just not sure if it was Sandown now, because I'm a bit jet lagged having flown to Prague. But I remember him winning, and he looked like a good horse, right? So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if he was still trained by Aidan, he'd be a 6-1 shot. So if from a value perspective, you should be lumping on the each way all day long.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Just remind viewers how because he's a Galileo. He was trained briefly by Aidan O'Brien, and you picked him up for virtually nothing.
Yeah, and look, it's. I mean, it happens. It's one of those things. And Amadeo, who he actually was the one who was in love with him. He owns him and he rides him every day. He literally lives in his box, looks after him. He's looking really stressed this morning. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like he liked 2 horses a lot last year. The first one went for 40 grand and turned out useless, and the other one went for 10 grand and turned out to be Prague. So it's just, that's the great thing about this game. I mean, my dad always bangs it on the head to me that a good horse will find you. Just keep working hard, and I mean, no one more deserved than Amadeo. He works so hard, and he's found his good horse, and it's brilliant for us, brilliant for the yard. Everyone, our yard is so excited. I think they're all going to go and watch it together tomorrow. It's really exciting. So we got no other.
Just a quick one, because we don't want to just talk about you, if you don't mind, and tipping and all that. Jonathan, yeah, we do. But Jonathan, do dogs move trainers? Do trainers sell dogs that go on? Because I don't know that about ground racing. Does that happen as well?
Well, it does. I mean, really, right at the start, because most of the grounds that are in the UK would have started with Irish trainers and handlers, so it happens on a regular basis. Having said that, the prize money in Ireland means that a lot of the top dogs do remain with their Irish trainers. So within trainers within the UK, from time to time, and I think we know, and I think the horse racing fraternity would know as well, that it's very rare that a greyhound will go backwards if it's in the right hands. So provided it's in and what have you. Yeah, you got to be diplomatic. So absolutely, there are certain circumstances where they have improved, and some circumstances where they might just not win as many races. But I was going to say, is this your first Champions Day runner, Dylan, or have you had some before?
No, this is, in all fairness, it's only our second full season. So
Right.
we started like with a half a season the year before. Last year was a full season, and this is only our second full season. So first Champions Day runner. Yeah, and hopefully there's more to come
Listen,
every year.
I'll tell you guys something else. Statistically, South African trainers that have gotten horses from Aidan O'Brien have done very, very well.
Who
Yes,
else then?
Sorry?
Who else has done?
Mark
Mike de Kock got Archie Penko.
Mark
yeah.
did really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dylan, stay on.
And Archie Penko. There was two more.
Yeah. Stay on. Let's just run through the card quickly, talk a bit about grounds, and we'll knock it on the head. Have you looked at the rest of the card, Dylan?
The rest for tomorrow.
Yeah.
No,
Well, no, you can tip us. You can tip us one of your other horses that you've got running soon, because you're firing in winners at Kempton. I mean,
You've got two running at Newcastle tonight, Ghostman and Edward Grieg. How will they go?
Yes, and both have Greg. He'll be a big runner. He's in the right race. They both got good chances. It's a long way to go to send horses, and I only really send them there if I think they can win. So they've both got good winning chances. And then obviously tomorrow, I like Prague's a good each way bet, and I've been watching economics. I obviously see him on the gallops, and I just can't wait to see him run. I think he's a super exciting horse for England.
yeah, let's talk about that. Robert, what are you thinking about economics tomorrow?
Well, that race, Dylan, virtually over the Champion Stakes, which is the race after you'll be celebrating with Prague, looks to be a match between the French horse Calandagan and economics. I mean, do you see it that way?
I do. Well, I see it as just economics. I've seen him on the gallops. Normally outrun him at the same time as him, and he just looks in unbelievable form. He looks fantastic. I think he's next year is the best horse there is in the country. He's unreal.
He's a fantastic horse.
I'll make him the banker tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you? Do you? Yeah. Because I mean, the betting has in fact made the French horse favourite at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's better for anyone who wants to listen to me.
Is he the sort of horse that will handle any ground, do you think?
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, I think so. William Haggis, as a trainer, is the one man who would not run a horse, no matter how big it is, can be the Derby if he doesn't think it will go on the ground. I've seen him scratch horses in the...
We've frozen.
Yeah.
Just while we get him back, I mean, in fact, he's dead right, because William Haggis could have run economics in the Derby, Joe, but he decided the track wouldn't suit him, and therefore he waited and he went to the Champion Stakes in Ireland and he beat August Rodin.
Yeah, I like him tomorrow, Sir Robert. I really like him tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
If we're going to talk about that race specifically, I think he's the wrong price, 15-8. I would say that he'd start favourite tomorrow and the French horse will go out. I think the money will just come and come and come for economics now. Not because we've mentioned it, but because I think he's the right horse in the country at the moment.
I agree.
And the other so-called good thing, Kyprios in the Stayers race, the first race, do you think he'll win?
You're asking me or Dylan?
I'm asking all of you.
I think Tom Clover's horse there is a very dangerous horse. Yeah, I think, I mean, Tom's also having a great season, great trainer. And look, Kyprios is the best day in the world, but Tom's horse, the way he won the other day, I haven't seen many horses win like that. He could be anything.
Yeah.
I like Trawlerman, eh? I like Trawlerman.
Because Trawlerman beat Kyprios last year, Joe.
Yeah.
In this race.
Yeah, I like Trawlerman though. I think John and Tady have gone through a bit of I think they're backfiring, and I think Trawlerman 4-1. Again, like I said last week, lads, I'd have my maximums, like I'd have 80% of my bet on Trawlerman a place and 20% a win. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he's a certainty to run into the money. I'd rather take 5 to 10 or 2s on Trawlerman in the first 3 than 4 to 5 Kyprios to win. That's for sure.
I agree with you there. I'd also put the other Gosden horse, Sweet William, who's been placed. He's never been out of the first 3 in 14 races. and I think he could run well. I think he could run into a place.
Let's address a bit of FOMO. Do you know what that is, Sir Robert?
Yeah.
Jonathan, talk to us about a bit of dogs, because I've got a fear that you're fearing missing out here. Give us what's happening in the dog world tomorrow.
I'm not missing out. I'm enjoying Champions Day preview. Doesn't matter about that. The racing is top notch, so I'll be tuning in. But I was going to say to Dylan, we mentioned a little bit off camera. You've got interest in greyhounds, have you?
Yeah, so the first greyhound I bought, his name was Catch My Tail. We nicknamed him Buddy. He was
Talk about suspense. That's so Agatha Christie stuff.
Absolutely. You've lost him now.
And now we're back from our sponsors.
I would think, yeah, I mean, look, this is interesting. So I've got a variety of questions, one of which is where, Dylan, you're back with us. Where are they based? Who's the trainer?
So Dan Bradburn in, I think, what's it called, Romford in Central Park. He has the 3 or 4 that I'm involved in, and then Luke. Do you know Luke Rowe? He's a new little trainer. I just met him. He's only 23. He's friends with Reese Clutterbuck, a stable jockey, and after we've just given him his first dog. I think he had his first runner the other night. So we're with the 2. Yeah, so.
Excellent.
Quite a few.
Have you been?
Dan's got a few runners at Central Park tomorrow, so I'm just yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
been?
he's a good trainer. Yes, I go all the time. I take my kids. I really enjoy it. We used to have 2 dogs with Emma. I forget her surname. She's based in at Harlow, which is quite close to us. And then, I mean, the dog, I've just retired at home now. He was our first dog. He won 13, I think. My kids and I went to watch him regularly, and he literally retired a few weeks ago, and he joined us on Saturday at home, and we've had the best week with him. He's been the most fun. It's been great to have. I've got some funny pictures of him. He's been brilliant.
Really?
I want some of those pictures, so we'll touch base in due course, Dylan. So no, fantastic.
Obviously,
Yeah. I'll send.
Please do.
I'll send him on to
Listen,
Joe later. And
obviously,
then he can pass him
Dylan
on.
likes to keep the whole gambling ecosystem going. So after he's won his money on Prague, what dog is he going to spend half of his winnings on this weekend?
But he did us proud last week, I think. So I've got to go with King Memphis, because I think against El Tornillo, who we were against last week, but he was absolutely brilliant. I think that's the matchup. It's in the Premier Greyhound Racing Kent Derby final, 20 grand to the winner. Liz McNair's got, or Rab and Liz have got the King Memphis, beaten Derby favourite, but a multiple big race winner. He's a class act. 2 of the fastest dogs are going to go head to head Saturday night at Central Park. King Memphis just gets the vote for me against El Tornillo. So going to go with Memphis in tune.
And that's 20 grand to the winner, huh?
20 grand to the winner. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, you've done well to catch me in between sort of makeup sessions, because I'm going off to Romford shortly. It's a big night there. There's another 20 grand prize up for grabs tonight as well with the PGR Champion Stakes. And would you believe they're dusting me down once again, bring me out of retirement, and we're doing a Gone to the Dogs special. So we're live on YouTube tonight. So Dylan, hopefully you're all over that, albeit, of course, you're going to have your mind very much concentrating on tomorrow night. I can understand that. So
and isn't it amazing that Dylan is sending 2 horses up to Newcastle tonight, and if he wins both races, he won't get 20 grand.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. The dog I just retired, he's been in training for 2 years. I've never paid a training bill, and after gelding him, and they have to sort of detrain him for 2 months, still had £1,300 in credit there. It's mad.
Yeah, it's madness, eh? So for the South African viewers that are watching that don't know, greyhound racing is really fun, and it's actually quite affordable.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think we've worked it out. It's about a fifth of the cost, I think. So
yeah. And they run often, and it's really fun. And you can watch it now, hey Jonathan? You can watch it everywhere almost.
Yeah, I mean, every single greyhound race is televised to a certain extent. I mean, it's another conversation. There's perhaps improvements there, and you might see something like that tonight.
After Dylan wins the 5:30 tonight at Newcastle, he's going to get 2,900. 83 pounds.
I've got a
It's
runner.
crazy.
I've got a runner in the 425 tonight at Newcastle.
Jesus, we got super Yankees coming up here today.
Catalan King, trained by Ed
Let's get
Bethel.
back to Newmarket. We'll go through quickly, then we'll let Dylan go. We'll do the greyhounds because I'm aware of time and
Okay.
Dylan's precious time. So, I mean, let's do Ascot. I beg your pardon. Let's do Ascot. So, I'm going Trawlerman in the first.
Second races. Are we good? Should we talk about the second race now?
Yeah, Dylan's gone Al Nahir in the first as a danger, and second race. Yeah, let's go second race.
I mean, a six furlong sprint on very
Yeah,
soft.
I'll go first.
I'm going to go.
If you choose to have a bet, I'll go
Who's
first.
bet-
If you choose to have a bet in this race, your next phone call is for assistance with your gambling problem.
I think I love betting in these sort of races.
Do you? Okay,
Yeah.
go on.
Well, you were talking about, because I think James's Delight of Clive Cox's, you've got to take a bit of a punt on the drawn 7, so that's okay. Ryan Moore's on board. He rode the horse last time. The horse has won at Deauville on pretty soft ground. Clive Cox's horses are in good form. I think he'll run well, and you can, as you were talking about, Joe, betting for a place.
Yeah.
You can get 9-4 to finish in the first 4, or 7-4 to finish in the first 5. You can get that even money to finish in the first 8.
Oh, that okay. Now you're starting to talk my kind of language.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's I think he'll be in the first. I think he'll be in the first 4, sure.
Yeah, but that's not a bad price for the viewers out there. 8 even money, the first 8 gives you an interest in the race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You take a double with Prague, all of a sudden it's a 30-1 double. All of these things make sense. And punting has changed in the UK. Dylan and I from South Africa, we're used to this kind of betting. But there is nothing wrong with taking this horse in the first 8 in a
No.
bet. Do you know what I mean?
Have you got a view on the sprint, Dylan?
I obviously based at Newmarket, so I see the decent horses here. I like Millstream. I did see him yesterday. He looks unbelievable. I think he's one of the best sprinters in England. He won the July Cup. He won at York, and there hasn't. It's this absolutely beautiful weather out here at the moment. The rain hasn't come like predicted. And I think if it doesn't, I think Millstream will be hard to beat.
Yeah, he's about 11-1, so you've got a bit of value there.
Bit of value there. Right. Let's move to the next one quickly. The 235.
It's good price. Yeah.
235
The
is
fillies
the
and mares.
fillies and mares. Aidan O'Brien's got a few here. Ryan Moore rides Content. I think Grateful would have it 14-1. Christophe Soumillon was on board. They won at Longchamp. Fillies and mares there. Best run yet. Horse in form. I think Grateful again is great value at 14-1.
Okay, I like Sir Mark Prescott's Tiffany. Always liked a bit of Tiffany when I was younger.
I bet.
And suited by the going, great trainer, 8-1, solid each way punt for me. Solid
Tiffany,
each way
Is
bet.
it Tiffany the pop star or Tiffany the jewelers?
We'll go with the former rather than the latter.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on Tiffany. I saw Sir Mark Prescott on the Elbow Artery this morning, and he looked confident. He looked confident enough. He just said he doesn't want it to be bottomless, and he said he's happy enough with it. So,
and for the guys watching this and the girls, we are completely unrehearsed. And as far as Dylan knew, he was coming on to talk about Prague, and we've had this amazing amount of information. So before we lose you again, in case we do, thank you so much, because I wasn't counting on any of that, but thank you.
Yeah.
So Dylan and I are on Tiffany, pardon the pun, from a punting perspective. And Sir Robert is on Grateful. So we're grateful.
But Grateful
Dylan
to
is
Tiffany.
far too young to have remembered Tiffany. Surely he has absolutely no idea who we're talking about.
Dylan.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure Bob does either, but
no, I know.
For
I
a
know
different
Tiffany,
reason.
she's
for a
great.
different reason.
No, I know about the jewelry.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you would. You're Sir Bob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 315. Okay. So bias aside, nothing to do with Dylan at all. I was impressed with this horse's first win. I like it when a stable supplements a horse, okay, because it's never an easy decision. So as an outsider, if I was sitting at home, I'd watched Prague run, I'd watched him be supplemented, I'd be punting him each way. Now that I know that he's well and the trainer really likes him, I might even increase my bet.
And as Dylan, you said, if Charin wins, he's one of the best horses around, and you finish second to him, there'd be no, you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'll put my neck on the line and say the bet of the week is Prague onto economics, the double. So that's
Oh yeah.
in the next two races, banker.
Go on, Dylan. This is the only podcast where you can really tell it how it is. Go on.
Exactly. Yeah.
The next race, we've been on Tiffany. We're grateful that we've got the money. We've flown to Prague. We're taking all our cash and we're going on an economics journey. We're putting all of it onto economics because I think that's a certainty this weekend.
I agree.
And then we round off with that handicap. Hundreds of runners in it, 20 runners, maximum field, mile handicap.
Yeah. I think rehab, if you punt in this race, take some of the money from economics and book yourself into rehab. Jokes aside, I think the Irish horse, State Actor, is a nice little, if we could get 8 places again or that kind of thing.
You can.
I don't think Chris Hayes is coming over to see what the weather is like in Ascot. Neither is trainer Farrell. I don't know what his first name is, but
Bill.
County Kildare's a bit of a schlep to come here. You've got to do all the EU imports and exports. It's a state factor for me.
State Actor.
Or Actor, sorry.
Yeah, in the Irish Cambridgeshire. I backed the winner. Funnily enough, Dylan, your horse, Zaminicha, who won at Lincoln, at the Lincoln meeting at Doncaster. I backed him and I dabbled him in the Lincoln with Mr. Professor, and they both won.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm living on the proceeds. And I think Mr. Professor, with the ground back again, I think it's 18-1. I think he's really good value. Number 9, Mr. Professor, is my selection for the handicap.
As well, they're racing up towards the final 2 furlongs. One Night Thunder leads the Lincoln field on the near side from the gatekeeper. Mr. Professor over on the far side, chased hard now by Thunderball, and then Chaz Esme's keeping on in the closing stage as they come up to the final furlong. It's Mr. Professor and David Egan though who've got a 2 lengths advantage inside the final furlong. Chaz Esme and Latam battling on, Navajo staying on, but Mr. Professor has got this all worked out, and Mr. Professor is storming home to take the Lincoln for David Egan and Dominic French Davis. Latam second, then Navajo.
I'm with Sybil. Yeah.
Can I just say that I think there's a theme with the backdrop of Prague. So I'm listening to my learned friends on the podcast. So can we have, I mean, hopefully for you guys, economics wins, but if Los Angeles wins, I think a nice backdrop of Beverly Hills, maybe Joe, and then what about Tiffany as well?
Hey,
maybe
listen,
yeah.
we love a bit of Tiffany. We love a bit of Tiffany. Listen, obviously, Mr. Professor, obviously they would love to win this race because it's 103,000 to the winner, which would mean over the last 2 weeks, the negative now is only 22,897,000 because he would have got back 100. Which, by the way, Dylan, I think is amazing for racing that man's putting his money into the game.
Yeah, he's brilliant, and he's done some interviews, I would say, on the back foot of it, and he's come out, I think, flying with shining colors. He's been brilliant. He's explained why he's doing it. He's explained. I think he did a really good interview last week on Racing TV, and I thought it was, honestly, I thought it was brilliant.
So for all of us,
he gets a lot of abuse. Yeah.
I know he does, and I don't understand it because I genuinely love horse racing. I genuinely love horse racing, Sir Bob and Jonathan and Dylan. But I've always asked the same question. If I look at the big races in Europe for the last 35, 40 years, there is a dominance of color there. The same colors over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I love the Aga Khan and what they've done for racing and Judmont, 1,000,000%. But you need to have the ability for other people to also race in these races. Though.
Yeah.
That's why greyhound racing is good.
Yeah. He's also come out and said, I'm not saying by spending this money, it's going to happen. He said, I could go completely out because of this. But he said, I'm going to give it my all and give it a good full go. So you got to say kudos to him. He's put his money where his mouth is.
And exactly what you've done, didn't Cunha, because you've done that. You've come over here. I was at your yard when you arrived. You had 4 horses. You were mucking out, building the website, doing social media.
Yeah, I
You
remember.
were doing everything yourself. So you've put your money and your time where your mouth is. And we're going to all shout Prague. We'll let you go. We're going to talk greyhound racing. Jonathan Hobbs is... I'll send you his... Oh, he's gone. I was going to say to you,
good to see
I'll
you,
send you Jonathan's Yankee this weekend. But fuck, Jonathan, he didn't even want it. He ran.
I just wanted the pictures of these retired grounds and
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that.
Well,
Ethan's
we'll
on the
sort that
case
out.
already.
That'd be
Right,
good.
Hobbsy, let's talk greyhounds quickly.
Go on then.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Romford tonight, we're there for the final of the Premier Greyhound Racing Champion Stakes. It's live on YouTube, live on the Gone to the Dog service. So get involved there. The big race, like last week, looks a fantastic matchup between New Destiny and Iams of Sydney. They produced, I think, the best race that I've seen this year. It was an absolute head bobber. And she got up in the shadow of the post in New Destiny. I kind of think that's going to happen again tonight. So going to go with New Destiny just in the big race against Iams of Sydney. I've already told you the Kent Derby tomorrow. I'm just going to go with King Memphis. There's also a big meeting at Perry Bar. We've got the semi-finals of the Oaks and also the semi-finals of the Scurry Gold Cup. They're traditional classics. The Bitches Classic and the Sprinters Classic. The best bets there probably would have to be Druid Say Go, despite her draw, which might actually improve the price because it's a tough-looking draw. But Patrick Jansen's bit's got so much speed. And then probably there's a horse racing link. Fastest in the Scurry Gold Cup heats last week, Ryoka Oshin, I think will win once again. So he's a champion jock elect, isn't he? So the dog carrying his name, I think, will win his semi-final tomorrow night at Perry Bar.
Perfect. Perfect. So we'll put that up in the caption, Sir Bob. We've got all your tips. Anything else on the weekend on the sporting front, guys?
Well, I'm glad we got to this point and not mention cricket, eh, Bob?
Yeah, but I think they deserve to win Pakistan. I think we were outmaneuvered. They played on an old wearing wicket, and we've been stitched up ready. And the decider coming up in Royal Pindi starts next Thursday, and it'll be a great match. I think it's 1-1, 1 to play.
Right, for cricket, absolutely. We'll take this one on the chin.
Yeah, 100%. You can't win them all, guys, and I mean, and you're really good at that. So it shouldn't be anything new.
Best thing, India being bowled out for about 46 by New Zealand was pretty amazing. But anyway, that's another game.
Should we do a little bit of politics quickly before we go?
I would just like to wish the best of luck to the adopted Englishman, of course, Thomas Tuchel. All the best being the England manager. Fantastic. There's a bit of a Chelsea link there, and I'm delighted. So I'm absolutely in his camp.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room then, right?
Come on then.
Do you think he's going to get more flack over here? Or actually, if he brings England to be successful, how much abuse will he get over there?
Well, I was listening to radio.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think because Klopp, everybody loves Klopp, and I think that's the same in Germany as well. So they can be a little bit indifferent, I think, about Thomas Tuchel. But I think that we'll all be behind him, and he's definitely the manager that perhaps can just go that one step further, as Gareth Southgate did so well. So I'm in that kind of camp that I think it's a good move.
Look how much abuse Sven got when he came in.
Yeah, I think we've moved on though, Joe.
But everybody's moved on, absolutely. You know what I mean? The next elephant in the room. Imagine this, guys. Close your eyes. Imagine this situation. A horse wins a race. The punters get paid out. 4 days later, a horse loses the race. The punters who backed the second horse go and look in the results because the punters, he was in a coma for 3 days. He looks at the result of the race. His horse won, but his bet lost. That's mental.
In one of the big handicaps of the whole season, absolutely chaotic, ridiculous.
You couldn't write it.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what the alternative. You know, it's just they made the rule because this was bound to happen sooner or later. You've got to have the result on the day. Whether you disqualify, you can't wait. You can't wait 3 days for an inquiry. Ridiculous.
So you're suggesting that the horse should have been thrown out on the day, as would be the case
No,
if
I'm not saying that. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that if I'd backed the runner-up and then eaten a lot of ice cream and had brain freeze, ended up in hospital, and came out 4 days later, logged onto the racing post, it will now say that my horse won. I would then go to my local betting shop and the guy's going to tell me your horse didn't win, it lost. And I go, no, it didn't, it won. I'm looking at
but
the...
it didn't win though, did it? And it wouldn't have won in any case. So but I'm surprised that if you guys think, was the correct decision made? Should the horse have been disqualified or not?
I don't think so. I think it's very, very harsh. It's very, very harsh. I think I don't know, an alternative penalty could be distance. There could be sort of a sliding scale. But the horse, you know, the connections, the owner, the trainer, they don't deserve to be placed last because of that infringement of the rules. Yeah. I know the rules are there to be obeyed, and the young jockey just went over. You know, he obviously couldn't count. Yeah. But I think to be placed last is absolutely ridiculous.
There's another way to look at this, right? And so I don't want to get too much into the whole wokeness thing, but every time a rower puts the oars in and pulls, he kills 8 billion plankton, right? So should we stop rowing? Don't watch rowing. If you don't like it, don't watch it. So maybe we're pandering to the wrong reasons. When you get into wrestling or boxing, you know what's going to happen. So when you get into racing, if you like racing, this is how racing is. So I think these rules, and I understand, I get the global reason why they're adding them, but the net effect is we now have a situation like this where we're trying to implement a rule to please everybody, and actually it's just a mess because it can't please everybody because there's no, like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right? Perception, and the whole thing about the whip, because the whip has been changed. It's not, I mean, it shouldn't really be called, it's not called a whip. It doesn't, it's like a rolled up newspaper.
Absolutely, but all of these adaptations have been made to pander to whatever it is in whatever sport. But
we live in a very sort of puritanical.
No, I know we do, but if your son comes home and says, "Daddy, I want to become a boxer," by implication, he's going to get punched in the face, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, you're absolutely right, and
we can't legislate against that. Don't become a boxer then. It's fine. You don't have to become a boxer. You don't have to watch horse racing.
Do you know they're trying to stop footballers heading the ball, aren't they?
They're reducing it certainly to, you know, I think you've got to be up to about the age of 16 that in training you're you know, they make sure that it doesn't happen. So
we don't want to talk too much about that.
Yeah, guys, the greyhound racing, same as horse racing when it comes to national, there are people out there that do not want to see animals in any shape or form, you know, entertaining or be involved in sport or what have you. But you just added another one, because I've always suggested that if they try to ban greyhound racing, then they'll try to ban horse racing. Then next it'll be show jumping. Then it'll be fishing. I never even thought about rowing, Bob, but Joe's absolutely right. Even rowing.
I mean, poor old plankton.
The plankton.
Where does it stop?
It doesn't. I see people complaining about a joke that Ricky Gervais makes and then saying, I want to go and watch Ricky Gervais, but I don't like the jokes that he makes. So make him stop making those jokes so I can go and watch him the way I like to watch him. It makes no sense, right? Anyway, gents, I'm going to love you and leave you with the best bet of the weekend. 2-1 Aston Villa away to Fulham. I know we haven't really spoken about football too much. I think it's the wrong price. I can't believe they 2-1 shots to beat Fulham.
They're a
Can't
good
beat.
side.
Mm.
But a good side. 2-1 in a football match. Really good price.
Best game of the weekend, though, Joe. Got to be Liverpool-Chelsea.
Yeah, it's
And
a big game. Big
yeah.
game, big game, big game, big game. And I know you're a fan of one of the teams.
The one in blue, yes. Absolutely, as you well know. So yeah, it's looking forward to that. It's gonna be a tough one, I thought, but the fact that we were down against Brighton, who are a very good team, and then came through to beat them. I think we're hopefully we're going to be too good for the Reds. So yeah.
It's been a great chat again, guys. Please send us all your stuff so we can create the graphic.
Good
We'll
to
see
meet
you
Dylan
next
as
week.
well. What a
Thanks,
man.
guys.